Welcome to another episode of Strip Club's Uncensored podcast. I'm DJ Jack, and I'm your host. Alright guys, this week's episode is a pre-recorded one that I've done with my friend Mel. Mel is actually the head of a non-profit organization that she created to help sex workers. Alright guys, before we get on all of that, we got to get to the very meat of the subject, guys. Share, like, and subscribe. That's right, guys. If you subscribe, it'll make it easier for you to find every single time I put out a podcast here on YouTube. I'm not exactly YouTube friendly, so guys, if you subscribe and if you share and if you like, not only does it help you find every time I put out a podcast, guys, it will help me grow so other people can find me as well. And guys, I'm going to be doing more and more episodes with my friend Mel. We're going to be talking about Witty Bimbo and talking about sex workers in general. So guys, please, you're going to want to catch all those episodes too. Please share, like, and subscribe. All right, guys. Why I wanted to talk with Mel about her particular organization is because I've long since believed that sex workers are not treated the way they should be treated. And to meet somebody who actually started a nonprofit organization to help sex workers, well, as far as I'm concerned, that's a great goal. So guys, I would like you to sit back, relax, enjoy this week's episode of the Strip Club's Uncensored podcast. And for those of you that might be thinking, he did not fix the audio like he promised last time. Guys, it wasn't that the audio was messed up. It turns out my mic that I was using was busted. Okay, I used a different mic when I checked the audio. And unfortunately, that one was working. The one that I was using is not working. So that piece of shit is gone. So after this episode and one more, that's before I replaced it, the only times you're going to be hearing the broken audio, guys. I apologize, but you know what? Now that we know what the problem is, next time it will be fixed. But that's then. This is now, and here we go with this week's episode with Mel talking about Witty Bimbo, the nonprofit organization for sex workers. Check it out. Okay, so here we are with the lovely Mel Rice.
Hello.
So I'm glad I was right and I remembered what it was all about. So I'm going to ask questions through, so I'm going to interrupt you while we're talking. But
Yeah, I'm used to it now.
Okay. We always got to warm up. So,
yeah.
Mel, please tell us why you decided to start a nonprofit organization.
First, thank you for having me here. It's nice to be here. I started Witty Bimbo about 2 years ago. After having been sober for a year. So now I'm in my third year of sobriety. 3 years, yep, that's right. Oh. But I started Witty Bimbo 2 years ago when I was re-entering the strip club scene and sex work in itself. And I was having trouble with my anxiety, basically. And I really needed to carry my healthy coping mechanisms and my understanding of those coping mechanisms into work with me on the daily basis.
So what brought you anxiety?
Oh, well, that's a long story. But, I mean, first childhood trauma. And then as we get into adulthood, sometimes we re-traumatize ourselves and put ourselves into situations that cause more anxiety. And so it was just a daily struggle every day. And since I've become sober, I've come to kind of get a grip on my nervous system and heal that. And so when I started Witty Bimbo, I brought my understanding of breathing and meditation and really like soothing the nervous system into the strip clubs with me.
Do you think that's important, being able to basically do stripper yoga?
Stripper yoga? Of course. I think yoga is important in whatever you're doing. And yoga can be done in so many different fashions.
Wait, so how would a dancer use it?
How would a dancer use it? So what I do is I teach little meditations. I promote the understanding of breath work and focusing on soothing your nervous system if you're having a hard time, kind of centering yourself. It has helped me tremendously. I think a lot of people don't realize that we walk around with so much anxiety in every profession, but as sex workers, we're really putting ourselves out there. And there's a lot of trauma that we come from typically that makes us comfortable with being in the club or wherever in the first place that can kind of make us nervous people, so to speak.
So what? I mean, because I'm literally an advocate about destigmatizing sex work.
Absolutely.
Because I think people should be comfortable with it, because honestly, my experiences with the strip club industry and women in general, well, sex work in general, and some might say the hoes, has been very positive in certain things. Literally, I lost my virginity to a hoe. And
that's good. So they charged you?
No. And I say that because she was an actual, like, oh, give it away for free kind of hoe.
Oh, she was like around the way girl.
Yeah, she.
Okay.
I met her, and literally after we had sex, she's like, oh, you've never done this before. I was like,
oh no!
It was my first time, and I'm like, you can tell she's like, honey, anybody could have told me.
Oh no.
And she literally helped me out, taught me some things, you know.
Oh, she was like a helpful hoe.
Yeah.
We need more helpful hoes.
My first ever having sex person was literally my fuck buddy for a year.
That's good.
So
that's good.
I didn't have the same. There was no stigma to.
You didn't feel shame around your first experience.
And I don't see anything wrong with it. When people talk about body count, I understand that some guys don't want a girl with a big body count, but honestly,
Can I ask you why you think that is? Like,
why I think that is?
Yeah.
Because some people see women and the idea of dating and marriage as buying a BMW. You want to buy the newest BMW. You don't want to buy one that's been in Ford crash.
That is some Kevin Samuels ass bullshit.
No.
Can I cuss? Can I cuss on this? Okay.
No. Honestly, he's the one I got it from.
Ew!
No, I listen to all sorts of stuff. Honestly, no. Some of what he says, I agree with. Some of them I don't. Like the body count, I understand. Look, as I said, my first time ever with somebody was with somebody who literally said, "Oh, you're a virgin.
Let me fix that." Yeah. Let me fix that.
She moved very confident.
Right.
After her, I could talk to any woman on the planet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
My friends,
the helpful hoe. I love it.
Yeah. And she actually taught me the one thing that got me, like my friends would envy me because they're like, how are you dating all these strippers and good looking chicks? I said, because I know a secret about women. If I tell you and you don't get it right off the bat, you're never going to understand it. And they're like, what is it? I go, okay, here's a secret of women. Treat them like people.
Yeah, imagine that.
I know.
It's incredible.
Most of the guys I would talk to would be like, what are you talking about? But a few guys would be like, oh shit, they would get it. And then be like, it was like I was throwing gold in the air. They're like, and they were just grabbing it. They're all like, oh, this is great news. And they
treat them like people as opposed to keeping them on a pedestal because they had something really that they wanted. Or
right. So here's a true story. And this is why I'm all up for you being here today and spreading the news about, all the things that could help sex workers and in this kind of world. Is because one day I'm literally getting a lap dance from this girl named Ashlyn.
Okay.
It's not a real name, stage name. My friend is next to me, all right? His name is Jaime. He's getting a fucking lap dance from a girl named Eve. He's like, so dude, he's like, how do you get all these chicks? I said, why don't you ask Eve? And he's like, what? I was like, that's my girlfriend. And he's like, you said that's her sister. I go, yeah, I know. Long story. Anyway, she had nothing. She knew I found her sister attractive. I hit on her sister before I knew her.
Oh, so you were getting a lap dance from your girlfriend's sister,
yes,
and your friend was getting a lap dance from your girlfriend.
Yes, and then she told him
like polyamorous.
What I always said. Long story with that. Literally, I could go on a fucking weird.
I'm all for polyamory, by the way.
No, I could go down a rabbit hole.
Okay, anyway, let's stay on track,
Yeah, stay on track. And she told him basically, like, what I always said is, like, treat women like people. She's like, that's what got me. And turns out she was actually married, and I was a side guy. Yeah, but she was gorgeous. And everybody's like, how the fuck did you do that? I go, treat her like a person. That's all I did. I treated her like she was people. And wouldn't you know it, she actually went out with me. Mm-hmm. And I find that's really hard for some guys to understand. I literally explained it 1,000 times in 1,000 different ways. But mostly I always tell guys, if you want to get a beautiful woman, treat her like people. I have never hesitated when I went and started talking to somebody, ever. Mm-hmm. It never really... I remember I was 17 years old. I was on a class trip because I was in ROTC, Reserve Officer Training for the Air Force in high school. We went to NASA. My schoolmates said that I should stop flirting with the tour guide. I didn't realize that's what I was doing. Because I was getting her laughing. I was saying, "Oh my God, that's a beautiful haircut."
Oh, yeah, the fun guy, yeah.
Yeah, and the first thing I said was like, "It's a beautiful haircut." She's like, "Oh my God, you think so? It's new." So literally, I had her smiling, laughing the whole time. My friends were like, "I was like, are you flirting with her?" And I was like, "I didn't see it that way, but apparently that's what I was doing." So I mean, obviously, I've had different ideas, and I told you that I actually dated a girl that became an escort while we were dating. So honestly, we stayed together for like another 4 months, and it wasn't her being an escort that broke us apart. It was the fact that we had no time together. Our schedules were different.
She was very busy.
Yeah, well, during the day, because the guys were like businessmen, and they could take time off during the day, go have sex with her, and then I would work at night, so we had no time at all, and that's what broke us apart. And she was a great relationship at the time. So honestly, when I hear stuff that could actually be applied to helping these women in this particular game, it's a great thing for me.
Yeah, it's a great thing for all of us. So with Witty Bimbo, I started doing the teaching of the meditation before work, just on stage. And then as things grew and people got more and more interested.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. And then I got my real estate license, like so many other people in the industry.
But to be fair, I actually believe you. When you got it, no, and it wasn't like I don't believe she got the license. No, I actually believe that when you got it, you applied it. You wouldn't believe how many people I've actually met that got a real estate license, but didn't do jack shit with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the market is so saturated, but that's a whole other topic. Yeah. But when I got my license, I was really fortunate to be in the brokerage of a really, really good company in town, and they put us through so much training. And it's still available to me, and they're really, really wonderful brokerage. And so I started learning very, very quickly a lot of information about finances, about buying a home, about real estate, about the mortgage industry. And in that process of learning, I realized just how much we needed this in sex work, and just how much these girls were undereducated with financial literacy.
Okay, that's a great idea, because honestly, someone that's been in the strip club game for like 20 years, I can honestly say I've met a lot of money-making chicks that didn't know the first thing about the difference between one side of the dime or the other.
Yeah, and there's a whole lot of reasons for that. Typically, a lot of us get into sex work because we don't come from a privileged background. A lot of people had to move out of their homes at a very young age. A lot of us do not have families that we can rely on in any way. We don't have good examples. There's no generational wealth being passed down, or an understanding of how to manage yourself and your finances in general. And so with Witty Bimbo, I have branched out and started teaching financial literacy classes, and it's become more and more of my role personally, and my drive in my nonprofit.
Okay. So what made you become a nonprofit? Because honestly, this could be something you could put online. You could just put it on YouTube or something, and you could actually send it out to the world. Why become a nonprofit organization?
Why become a nonprofit? I mean, that's a great question. Because I don't want anyone that I'm serving to ever think I'm here to take something from them, or to work them over. You know, we make a great deal of money in sex work as it is. I'm here to serve the girls. I'm here to work with them and learn with them, right alongside of them.
So you would think that if you put this online, basically on YouTube, put all the lessons out there and all the things, you would think that some people might see you as a Tony Robbins type of person that's trying to make a buck.
Sure. I mean, to be quite honest, I have never really been a fan of the whole life coach
I'm all for life coaching.
Archetype, or whatever you want to call it.
Well, okay. So before we get into that, I find that
it's a little ego,
driven. People that there are the self-help gurus that are just there to sell you a hit of like happiness. You know, like Tony Robbins, like mentioned Tony Robbins, and I've read and I've read articles and I've read testimonials from people who basically they said, one guy in particular, he said he's like, I got the same rush reading Tony Robbins' book as he got from sniffing cocaine. It was just the same level of pleasure. And when he realized that it was what was happening, he just stopped reading self-help books. And ended up going to a life coach. And unlike a therapist who just basically listens and is like, well, tell me what you think. A life coach they'll give you a kick in the ass, which is what it sounds like you're doing, because a life coach gives you a lesson and says, it's up to you whether or not you take it, because if you can't drink from this cup, what does this mean for me? It means everything to you. It doesn't mean anything for me. I'm just showing you how to drink from the cup. If you refuse to do it, that's on you, because this is the lesson for today. You can't drink from it. This is going to affect every lesson I can teach you, so please drink from the cup.
Right. I definitely see what you're saying. I want to be clear that I do not define myself as a life coach. No offense to any life coaches out there, but for me personally, the proper leadership comes in the form of joining your community that you're trying to serve and you're trying to lead. I am not someone that's come to me and get some salvation. Come to me and get this guidance.
That's more of a preacher.
But a life coach is kind of like a preacher. I mean, in my opinion, and I'm really not trying to offend anyone, but my style of leadership is to be a part of the group, is to learn with them, alongside them, and to just work as one unit. I definitely don't want to coach anyone through anything, because I don't see myself or my ego as knowing so much more and needing to teach people.
Yeah, learning are like that.
Are like what?
The greatest teachers in life aren't the ones that have all the answers. There's the understanding that, okay, so there's a great old saying that said, a wise man understands that he doesn't know everything. A stupid man believes he knows everything.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why I honestly was thinking that you were a life coach, because you're saying you're no. Because my personal life coach always tells me I don't know everything, because some of the lessons don't affect me how they affected her. So she adjusts the lessons we go through, because she's like, okay, I understand this affected me, but it's not affecting you. At one point she gave me charts and graphs, and I'm like, this doesn't mean anything to me. I don't understand what's going on. And she's like, what? This doesn't make any sense. I go, look, it makes sense to you, but graphs and charts and all that stuff makes any sense to me. Mm-hmm. I go, I'm dyslexic. I know.
So for sure.
So algebra and all the rest of this shit really didn't work for me.
Same.
But she adjusted her teachings to help me.
Correct.
And I find that the more you talk, that's actually what it sounds like. Because honestly, a great leader in the community is someone who's actually willing to learn from the people underneath him to understand what a true leader is.
Right.
So,
I definitely just don't want to. I wouldn't describe myself as a life coach, and I certainly don't think that there's anyone underneath me in this process.
I think that you're a teacher, which is the most important thing.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
I like that.
Because honestly, that's what my life coach. That's how she sold me. She's like, I'm a teacher. She's like, forget the title, forget everything else. I'm a teacher, and I'm going to teach you something that you don't know that you need. And I find that's the most important thing, because if you're a teacher, you can actually apply lessons to people, and they can take them. Now, remember you saying you had a mission statement.
Mm-hmm. Right. So our mission is to facilitate discussion and space for sex workers to explore healthy coping mechanisms and education. And so obviously I started just with the coping mechanisms, and then when I entered the mortgage and real estate industry, I realized the need for education in the financial literacy arena. And then I kind of branched out in my understanding of branding and had to build my website. So I came up with my 3 core principles.
We'll talk about that next.
Okay. I can talk about it now.
No. We always do this in stages.
Okay.
Because I want to see, you never really mentioned. I mean, you mentioned it offhand, and I would like one podcast just focusing on that. Because that sounds like something we could go in depth, and why make it so long,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But continue with mission statements.
So that is the mission statement. So education would be a little bit broader than just the coping mechanisms. Right now, my coping mechanisms are breathing and meditation and teaching people Tantra and how to be present. The educational side, obviously I'm very passionate about financial literacy, but also I would like for people to be able to come to me and say, hey, there's this class I want to take, but I can't afford it. And we would be able to fund some classes. Also would like to be able to employ some teachers who would like to teach classes to groups, and we would pay them as well. Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. See, I'm learning things as everybody else is. So here's my question.
Yes.
So here's a really good question that you ask for anybody that's actually doing something that's involving people. What is your 10-year outlook on this program?
Oh, this is a huge one, and I don't even know if I'm ready to share my 10-year. So I have some wonderful people on my side. Not only cheering me on, but they're co-directors with me on Witty Bimbo. We have been in serious talks about opening our own club. It's a very, very serious thing and a huge goal.
Wait, what do you mean by club?
Our own strip club. And there are opportunities.
I can give you some information that most people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not talking about that here. But continue.
Okay. So 10 years, we would definitely be in the works on something like that in Texas. I'm not sure exactly where. That's just a little brief snapshot of what's to come. I can't say too much.
I get it completely.
Yeah. But obviously, I'll have a brick and mortar location where I can operate out of. I would love to own my own building and start operating my nonprofit out of there, and then have a place for people to come for healing and to come for their education or whatever else we may be able to offer in the future.
So I know some people might be listening to this and realize that this does not apply to me. But the reality is these kind of tools sound like they could be applied to somebody who is a waitress, a bartender,
absolutely.
Or a door girl.
I really would. I mean, it is sex worker specific because this is my community. But I would definitely stress that literally anyone can come to me. I will not turn anyone away if they need. If they want my services, if they want anything from Witty Bimbo, I would never turn anyone away. So typically when I'm describing Witty Bimbo to people outside of the industry, I say we are a nonprofit that services service industry workers. So it leaves things pretty. Yeah, absolutely.
At a regular bar.
Absolutely.
Doesn't know jack shit about financials can come to you.
And they absolutely should. And yeah, we would definitely help. Everything is always open to anyone. Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, this is actually a great way to start. No, honestly, you answered some of the questions I had without me actually asking. Because honestly, I wanted to wait to hear about this fully, as we're doing now. Because I find that sometimes it's better to be surprised as we're going. And honestly, I have been
a good reaction.
I've got some good reactions out of me, I know. And I think it's very good, honestly. Yeah. It's a good thing. Because for those of you who don't know, in the financial world that we live in, most people don't save shit. Yeah. They don't save shit. They blow money.
It's very difficult to save right now. I just want to be clear that not everyone has the ability, it is almost a privilege to be able to have anything left over after paying our bills. If we're just being quite honest about, the normal working class situation in the United States. Yeah. Just want to put that out there.
But I know, having said that, some of these women in the sex industry do not have a good sense of saving money, honestly. And to a story that literally prime example of something about some women don't know shit about saving or anything about financials, which is why I think this is a great idea. There was a particular girl who wore a $1,600 Louis Vuitton bikini to a strip club.
Okay.
Yeah, and why anybody would spend that kind of money on Louis Vuitton bikini is beyond me. But within 30 minutes of her hitting the floor, somebody accidentally spilled a drink on her, which led to a whole shitstorm, which is why I know it cost $1,600.
I was going to say, how do you know that?
She wanted a guy to buy her a new one because the bottoms had vodka and fucking cranberry spilled all over it.
Right.
But she was so pissed off about this. It's the only reason why I know it's $1,600.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that I could ever get between a stripper and her Louis anything.
No, but
I do want to stress the importance of
you would have
spending.
said a purse was a better idea than a bikini.
I don't even know where you would get a Louis Vuitton bikini. I don't know. Anyways,
Miami.
but yeah. But I do want to stress the importance of, if you're going to spend a bulk of cash, it should be on an appreciating asset, not a depreciating asset. And then you can spend your money on your depreciating assets. And then I go into more detail on that kind of stuff in my classes and stuff. There are different kinds of purses and jewelry and stuff that are considered appreciating assets. That's a whole class that I would teach, what gifts to ask for from your sugar daddy and so on.
Oh,
yeah. No, that's one of my classes. I got to save that.
Oh, yeah. We really got to go for that. That's going to be a whole episode. Honestly,
that would be a good episode.
I personally buy guns in silver.
Oh.
Guns don't appreciate value, and if shit happens, I'm prepared.
Yeah. Are you a gun guy? You're a gun person?
I'm not a fanatic. And despite what some people might think, I'm not a fanatic. I do live in, and I've had some people ask me, are you crazy about guns? I'm like, no. I go, I'm just smart.
Yeah.
I bought a .357 that cost me $400. I had offers for up to $1,500 for that gun. They don't make it anymore.
Oh, wow.
Some guys want to
buy it. So there you go. You know what's up.
Some guys would want to buy it because they have a new barrel for it and a new grip, but they have no center part of the gun. Where the trigger, they don't have that.
This is like gibberish to me. I don't know anything about guns. I wish I did. I've lived in Texas for so long. I should. I'm ashamed of myself.
I bought a car with a shitty engine.
Right.
Because I know the frame is worth some money. People are trying to buy it from me because they have the engine. They don't have the rest of the car.
Ah, I see what you're saying.
Well, this is actually a great way to actually introduce Witty Bimbo as a non-profit organization that can help sex workers, because honestly, I would love to become someone that could be known just to share the sex work part of the game, because I think it's really important, honestly.
Yeah. It's a valid career. It's a valid job. The stigma is the only thing that's bad about the industry.
Yes. And one of the things I'm pushing, so you can understand, as I'm pushing something, not my term, but it's called the hierarchy.
Okay, I like it.
Imagine a pyramid. Okay, so you got streetwalkers at the bottom.
Oh God.
Because, and this is how we do it. The level of access people have to you as a person. Streetwalkers obviously can't pick and choose who they get. It's whoever. It's a gamble every single day. All right. They have no protection. There could be sex trafficking, drugs, all sorts of things. So there's a lot of dangers in that job.
Very dangerous.
Well, right above that is strippers, because they have a lot of contact with people they never meet before and never meet again. But the reason why they're not on the same level as streetwalkers is because they have protection.
A bit of a protection. Yeah, they're protected in several ways. Literal shelter, the law, it's a legal thing to do.
And above that is escorts, because they obviously pick every client regardless.
Do you think that's true?
Yeah. A lot. And there's actually, I don't know it because I'm not, but I have heard over the years, there's actually a website where escorts actually talk about guys who've been blackballed by them, so they won't get in the same issue.
Yeah.
I've heard about it for the last couple of years.
We definitely communicate. There's a network. Unfortunately, it's not legal here, so it keeps things underground and keeps things dangerous. That's a whole other subject.
Why I know about it, but I don't know where it's at. Because they told me, if you were an escort, we'd tell you.
Yeah.
But you're not, so you just know it exists.
Yeah, we got to gatekeep that one.
So right above that is the cam girls and OnlyFans girls. They're together. And they don't have any physical contact with people. They sell their products. They're completely protected. Unless they're stupid enough to say, I live in Michigan, I live in Detroit, whatever. If they're that dumb, they're going to cause problems to solve. But the reality is, they could be anywhere in the world and protect themselves. Some girls wear masks. Some of them are in different countries. The people that want them can never get to them. They have to travel across the world.
And I've never done OnlyFans or anything, but if you are a cam girl, it's from my understanding, you can you can work in a state, and then you can set your
block out that country.
Yeah, you can block out location of people who view you.
That's why they're so high in the
that's amazing, by the way. Good for them.
You wouldn't believe how many OnlyFans girls don't even show their face.
Yeah.
I knew one girl literally before her husband got married and got a really good promotion from Dell. Mm-hmm. She was doing OnlyFans, but never showed her face. Mm-hmm. It's just like from her chin down, so they saw her tits, and she was doing. I
feel like that speaks more to about the audience than anything. It's like they do not care what your face looks like.
She's a mother of 3, so her husband got a promotion. She stopped doing it, for her it was a good outlet. And then at the top, you have porn stars. They have an extreme lot of protection. Now they only meet people at certain conventions. Some of them surrounded by security.
This hierarchy is like in terms of who's the most protected and most honored in society.
And
are you saying
the amount of money, the less danger they have, because there are certain porn stars that literally nobody knows where they live. There are certain porn stars that don't tell anybody where they live. There was actually one porn star that somebody figured out that she was lying about living in a state. But the amount of trouble that guy had to go to find out she was not living in that state.
So accessibility.
She's like, you don't live here. It became a whole big thing a few years ago because this guy literally was trying to hunt her down.
I kind of have to disagree with you about the pay thing. I don't think that porn stars make more money than strippers.
It's about how you apply it.
Well, because, I don't know.
One particular porn star, Riley Reid, to use her as a great example.
Yeah, but she's doing the craziest shit you've ever seen.
No. But also,
right?
Also, she tells her fellow porn stars how to apply themselves to make money. She's like, you can't be that chick. No, because there's plenty of porn stars whose OnlyFans prices have dropped to $3 a month because they don't apply themselves. She says she makes $500,000 a month. Because she's like, anywhere that I shoot, I have good lighting. I have 4K cameras.
So she does OnlyFans.
Yeah, well, she also works for companies. But she does, primarily what she makes money off of is her OnlyFans. And all the things that she does. She has production, she has a camera system, she has lighting, editing, everything. At the end of the month, after she pays for all that crap, she has $500,000.
That doesn't sound too bad at all.
Yeah, exactly.
My goodness.
And her thing is like she's even in the interview she's brought up the fact that people have lost money. There are some.
That's like a thing that I think about. I mean, because I believe in production, and I mean, obviously, you're doing really great. I love this production, by the way. This looks so good. There's nothing worse than, and I have a background in film and television as well. I was an actor for a long time, and so. I kind of have an eye, I think. Anyway, it just bugs me when people...
Actually, we can do a whole one on that.
Yeah, we can do...
Because I know
but production's very important.
She's super hot. Mm-hmm. And she charged $30 a month. But what she was giving people, the quality... She even showed me one of the photos, and I was like, that is a shitty photo.
It's like all done with their phone or something.
No, it was she thought that having like the amateur look would sell it, but it literally got to the point where like... There were only like 3 guys left because she thought it would give her like the sense of like I'm an amateur, but literally
makes it edgy in a sense.
Quality just scared off. Like guys are like, why the fuck am I paying $30 a month? I'm not getting 4K pictures, and it really ruined it for her. Yeah, and some girls. There's one who's really that I know of specifically. She's very good looking. The problem is she doesn't upload, but like 3 times a month, and the only guys that still like her. Are the ones who's like
they're like the steadfast like hardcore regulars.
She does a lot of roadhead videos and like car videos, sex videos on her OnlyFans. So people who actually are into that, go get her.
That's pretty specific, yeah.
Yeah, but again, she's like, I'm increasing what my monthly fee is because they'll pay for it and they'll pay for all this other stuff. But she's not really doing that best. And anything that could literally do with finances and literally help her organize what she's doing would be a positive. Which is one of the reasons why I think this is a great idea.
Yeah, and so we will continue our outreach to other forms of sex work. Right now, my community is the strip club. So I'm reaching out to my community, but I'm also employing other people to help me that actually know a whole lot more about finances and are true professionals. And so they'll be giving more in-depth classes. So you'll be getting more in-depth classes from true professionals. Me, I just found this amazing passion. Yeah, and I was like, this is incredible. Like, we all deserve to know this stuff because I didn't come from any privilege. I had no idea what I was doing. I was walking around crazy, just struggling with addiction and couldn't even pay my rent every month. So to be able to come out the other side and not only be doing great and surviving, but thriving financially and thriving emotionally and having my anxiety under control. It's a beautiful thing. And my only wish is to share it with everybody.
Wait, with the next one, we're going to talk about, you said there's 3 stages to your program, right?
Yeah, well, 3 core pillars. So 3 core principles.
All right, so we're going to focus on that next.
On the next podcast?
Yeah, because we're already at over 30 minutes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so this is Mel, who is the one that runs Witty Bimbo.
WittyBimbo.org.
Yeah, we're going to record the next podcast, guys. So we'll be here next week when that comes out. But we're going to pre-record that in a little bit. But until then, guys. All right, guys, that's the end of the episode. Thank you for listening to this week's episode, guys, of the podcast, Strip Clubs Uncensored. Guys, don't forget, share, like, and subscribe. When you subscribe, it'll make it easier for you to find every single time I put up a new video on YouTube. Not exactly YouTube friendly, guys, so liking and sharing each and every podcast that you like will help me grow. More importantly, will make it easier for other people to find me. All right, guys, we were talking with the lovely Mel Rice, guys. Hopefully you got some good information about Witty Bimbo. But if you would like more, we're going to put all the relevant information down below, guys. That's right. If you want to reach out to Mel to talk about Witty Bimbo, especially if you're a sex worker in the city of Austin, she would love to help you out, guys. So hit her up down below. Check it out, guys. It's going to be out to her Instagram and other relevant information. All right. Plus, guys, if you want to hit me up with your emails or your questions, my email and my Instagram is down below, guys. Don't forget to share and like that as well. All right, guys. Till next week. All right. Take care of yourselves. Peace.